Hello, welcome back. Okay, these crypto regulations, it was not regulations, right? These are not regulations. This was just Joe Biden outlining on a really high level how he wants to take crypto. And it's generally good news, though, I'll tell you that. And the reason is uh, he doesn't want to regulate crypto in the way that you would regulate, let's say, nuclear arms or something, right? Where everything is really locked up tight and there are lots of checks and balances. It's not like that. He's regulating this much more like the internet, which is, I would say, most certainly ideal. This is what we want to see out of some kind of regulation. It's a broad outline and it's a positive outline. It does, and this indicates that they're not going to be banning Bitcoin, which is great. So the crypto ban is out of the question. We're not going to get banned, which is probably why we saw this. And so let me take this to the let me get a line and let's get to candles. That's probably why we saw this. And this is probably why, yeah, this is why we saw that big jump today, right? Today was a huge jump, and that's because we had positive news. Great. But let me assure you something. This is not enough, right? This is not enough to give us, like, phenomenally positive. And we're already turning around. See, if go down to the 4-hour, we can see that we're already turning around, and we're coming back down because there's downward pressure right now, generally speaking, right? There's not anything. It's overall positive, right? This is how the internet was set up. In the Clinton administration, he had regulation that was very open-ended, and this still needs to go through the House and the Senate and everything. And there's a lot of steps involved, but there's a way to go here, right? It's not like we've wrapped up the show. The concerning thing, and I've said this so many times, I'm beating a dead cat, but this 50-week moving average is it, right? It's at 43,288. We can break above it. It's not a big deal, even if we go above it, right? It's not a big deal. But my suspicion is no matter what we do, we're going to come back down, right? We saw a great example of that recently. This was 2020, I think, right here. Yeah, 20, right at the beginning of the year. So right at the beginning, we had this big candle that broke past and closed above the 50-week. Then we broke above the bull market support band, and then we wrapped right back around about a month later, and we went down. And this was actually COVID, right, that caused this. So it's, I don't know, this is the weird thing. Like, you can't, looking at this, when we broke past here, do you think, it's like, was there some pre-recognition kind of thing? Like, did someone know that this was going to happen, that COVID was going to be a big thing? Like these in January, I remember January being pretty normal. Like I remember thinking, oh, this is just another year kind of thing, right? It was not on my radar as any event at all. I remember exactly what I was doing. I was working in real estate, or not in, I was building out a real estate portfolio at that time. And I remember doing some work at one of the places and thinking, okay, this is totally normal. Everything is absolutely fine. And I didn't remember even COVID being a thing at this time, basically. Life just felt totally normal. And this come down, I remember this. Not this, I remember the public markets doing this. I remember that. So I guess what happened here is, the COVID news kind of broke here in North America, because up to here, maybe this month was just like all general positivity. COVID broke news, and then the seriousness of the situation kind of kicked in. But even then, by May, we were already out of it, right? We were back to where we were pre-COVID. It's really unbelievable. But the conversation had is we broke past and then we came back down. So is it true that we always come down to the 200-week in green here if we close below the yellow, which is the 50-week? It seems to hold true, right? Does it invalidate it if we break past the yellow and into the bull market support band and above and come back down? I don't know. It seems not to be the case, because in every other case, if we did close below the yellow, that one close, we actually did break above the yellow, the 50-week, and then we came back down, right? And eventually went down and tested 200. I don't know. I'd like to know. It'd be nice if we could know definitively. And I guess we're going to find out here, because all my chips are in this theory here, that if we close below the 50, we go and test the 200. because I'm not buying anything right now. I'm not dollar cost averaging anything. So this is probably something to note and something to keep in mind. But aside from that, I don't have much else to say. This Biden regulation is very, very high level. The good news from it, though, is that crypto will not be banned. And crypto will let it have its own sort of ecosystem. Like, let it flourish, let it build, let it grow kind of thing. That's the kind of vibe. And that's really great. That's what we need, right? We want that kind of open-ended sort of ability to grow and flourish. If you don't have that, then you have stagnation, essentially, right? If there were hard rules around crypto now in its infancy, essentially, you'd have stagnation. Like the internet was the perfect case. The internet was allowed to grow. Though they didn't know what it was allowed to grow. And you might think, okay, well, if you put hard regulations in, what's the downside? Well, how do you, like 2 years ago, how do you regulate DeFi? Right? DeFi just popped up out of nowhere, essentially, and no one could have really predicted it, or CryptoPunks, right? All the stuff. Like, so you definitely need that open-ended side creativity for that 19-year-old coder to come in and kind of like, come up with these wild ideas. I don't really have much else to say about this today. But let me know what you think. If you like what I said, comment and like and whatnot, and I will see you tomorrow.